Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister. Whenever you experience a population and a building boom like the one that the state of Florida, and more specifically Central Florida, is experiencing, you are always going to have those individuals, unlicensed contractors, who are looking to make a quick buck by taking advantage of unsuspected homeowners. Hillsborough County is no exception. Fortunately, in Hillsborough County, we work extremely closely with our Hillsborough County Building Department and State Attorney's Office, along with the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Department of Financial Services, to monitor, investigate, and combat these types of offenses. Several months ago, this component realized that they needed to conduct a covert operation advertising and soliciting the services, contracted services of a home in need of repair. The good news is the operation was extremely successful. We have charges resulting in an investigation resulting in charges of 78 individuals. The bad news is the operation was extremely successful with charges pending on 78 individuals, which tells us that there's still too many unlicensed contractors operating in Hillsborough County. Homeowners, I need you to help us. I need you to do your part. I know that reputable contractors at times can create a time delay, and when we want something done, we live in a society, we want it done now. I know the substantial savings that they can show you is extremely enticing. But don't fall victim to the circumstance, because the consequences don't outweigh the advantages. You will find yourself with A, these unlicensed contractors took your money to never be found. B, they take the money and complete a portion of the job. And C, worse yet, they complete the job and it's shoddy workmanship that puts you and your families in danger. I implore all of you, do not hire an unlicensed contractor. Make sure that the contractor shows you his license, his or her license, and that you do your homework, do your research. Take a look at the license, go online, do your research and make sure you're hiring the right contractor for the services that you want or wish to be completed in your home. I have to thank our hardworking detectives who did a phenomenal job during these investigations. I want to thank our counterparts and partners with the Hillsborough County Building Department, the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Department of Financial Services, and our State Attorney, Mr. Andrew Warren. Mr. State Attorney, thank you. You are always available. You always dedicate so many resources to protecting the citizens in Hillsborough County, and your Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office can't be more grateful. And with that, I'll turn it over to our State Attorney, Mr. Andrew Warren.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you to Sheriff Chronister for the introduction. From the beginning of my administration, I've emphasized our commitment to target the violent crimes that threaten people's physical safety and the economic crime that threaten people's financial security. Construction fraud, in which unlicensed contractors falsely represent themselves to be licensed professionals, poses many risks to homeowners, from subpar work to safety concerns to liability issues. But it's more than that. In misrepresenting their qualifications to get business, the contractors have lied to get money. That's fraud in its simplest form. As Hurricane Irma approached, many in the community proudly witnessed neighbor helping neighbor prepare for the storm. But some in our community saw the hurricane and its aftermath as an opportunity to victimize others at a vulnerable time. The unlicensed contractors caught up and Operation Swift Wind chose to exploit rather than help their neighbors, and for that they're being prosecuted. I'd like to thank Sheriff Chronister and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, and the Department of Financial Services for their work in these investigations. I'd also like to recognize from the State Attorney's Office our Economic Crime Chief, Ada Carmona, and our County Court Chief, Renee Marotti, for their work with these agencies that led to these arrests and prosecutions. Finally, to echo what our sheriff said, although construction fraud is not entirely preventable, there are steps that homeowners can take to reduce the likelihood of being victimized. Verify contractors' licenses, either by asking for documentation or by going to the Department of Business and Professional Regulations website. Be wary of having to pay cash up front. Obtain written estimates. And report suspicious activity to the State Department through their unlicensed activity hotline or to local law enforcement. Together, we can put construction fraud out of business. Thank you.
Any questions? So I know that some of these people, they were considered, self-proclaimed handymen, and you don't necessarily need a license to do handyman work. When folks, I guess, are trying to get these folks in there, trying to get somebody to do work to their home, I guess it's important to kind of figure out what jobs can be done by somebody who's considered, just a handyman that doesn't need a license or other permits to be doing that work.
That's a great question, Sergeant.
I can answer that. I'm Jim Blake with Hillsborough County Building Services. There's no such thing as a handyman's license, okay? Anybody contracting, whether it's painting a house, laying carpet, doing tile, are required to be licensed. They're licensed to protect the homeowner. Just like the state attorney said, it's a liability. You invite somebody into your property, they get hurt, you can be sued, they can put a lien against your property because they, for getting hurt. So please don't hire anybody that's unlicensed to do any kind of contracting work around your home. Okay, you're just, that's a requirement that doesn't need to be licensed. So our categories, power washing, laying pavers, those are contracting services that don't require licensing, but mostly every kind of activity dealing with your home requires a licensed contractor to do it, but there are some exceptions.
Once a permit is pulled, is there any background checks you do on these?
We do it before we issue the permit. Contractor comes in, applies for a permit, we check his license, we check his insurance, his workman's comp to make sure that he's covered. If he's hiring a sub, electrical, plumbing, we vet them to make sure they have their license is current and their insurance is current to protect everybody involved.
So we assume these homeowners who had this work done didn't have a permit pulled for their construction, whatever it be.
Right, they contracted business with an unlicensed contractor. Anybody that they can go to our webpage, hillsboroughcounty.org. They can if they know the guy's name, they can run the name. If he has a license, the license number is going to be on a card. The card looks like a credit card that's issued either by the state or by Hillsborough County. It's got his name, his license number. It's easy. It's traceable. Okay. When somebody doesn't want to show you their contracting card, chances are they're not licensed.
I was under the impression that handyman work, there was certain handyman work that you could do. For instance, you could do floors as long as like a job was underneath a certain amount of money.
No.
Stuff that
Not in Hillsborough County. It's got to be licensed. He can be a handyman and run a pressure washer. Okay.
In Dallas County, obviously, it's different.
It's different, correct.
So it's all those regulations are different from county to county.
Correct.
Now, you mentioned that you found 78 people. Well, obviously, we only see a couple here. Are these only the people that you have actually arrested? And then also, what are these pictures?
That's exactly right. These are individuals that we arrested on felony charges. That was 8 of them. The other 70 have been sent to the state attorney's office for prosecution. And I just wanted to clarify, this was a covert operation. This was an undercover home that we utilized. We invited these people. We advertised, reached out to 310 individuals, 114 responded, then we ended up filing charges on 80 individuals.
And then the pictures that we're seeing is some of the work they've done, or what are these?
These are pictures depicting the house that we utilize, inviting these unlicensed contractors in, soliciting contracted services that we wanted done, repairs that we wanted fixed.
Sheriff, can you explain why you think so many people are being duped? Is it the money? Is it the price of the job? Is what's attracting them?
That's certainly a large part of it. The financial savings is extremely enticing. When you start talking about dollars and cents, that's very important to all of us. The other part of it is a lot of reputable contractors are overwhelmingly busy. So they may put individuals off 3 to 6 months, sometimes even longer. And we don't want to wait. So we want the work done now, and we're willing to compromise on that work. And this year alone, we've investigated 136 complaints of shoddy workmanship or unlicensed contractors that have taken advantage of our homeowners. Anything else? Appreciate everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming out.